How you doing? This is Clifton Raheem Bradley. Assalamu alaikum from out of Chicago. And I am waiting on my guest, David Koss, to come in. I have shared the link with him and anybody else that would like to join in on the conversation. You're more than welcome. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the news media. What is going on with the news media? What is going on with all of the storms? What is the sightings of UFOs by some people? There's some people that believe in UFOs, and we're going to talk about Donald Trump, and we're going to talk about Joe Biden, and these are the type of things that we will be discussing on the show. We'll be discussing. These are the type of things that we will be discussing. So I am, like I said, I'm waiting on David Koss right now. And as soon as David Koss, I'm gonna send him the link again to make sure that he has it. And who knows? You might even hear me call him to ask him if he has the link. That is what I'm going to do. DAVID can't share his email address unless he wants me to share his email address. But I'm sure he does not mind because it is public. Anyway, okay. So that is what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on David Koss right now. And those are the type of things. It's like I can tell you what's going on in Chicago right now. The gas prices are somewhat high at this particular time. But some people will say it's normal because our gas prices in the inner city of Chicago, it's like $3.79. But I hear that in California, the gas prices are something like about $4, about $4 a gallon or something like that, $4.80 a gallon or something like that. That's what I heard. That's what David has informed me about. That's what he says. The gas prices are, and it's bad the way everything is just getting backed up. Everything, I'm talking about all of the cargo, and it's getting backed up for those people that may be looking for Christmas presents and all that. And here comes our guest. Okay, here comes our guest. How you doing, Brother David?
Excellent, Clifton.
Can you hear me loud and clear? Because we don't. You know what? We are now on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and on I forgot Facebook's page. And it was funny because you know what? I'm going to turn your sound up because I don't want them to miss anything that you have to say. Okay, because I'm a facilitator. Okay, so what I want to know is, can you introduce yourself to the people that are looking at to your global community?
Well, my name's David Koss. I'm originally from Iowa, and I'm living now on Venice Beach, California, and soon to be moving to the Twin Cities, Minnesota. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. You don't mind us asking what? You don't mind me asking why you moved? Yeah, that might be your own personal business that you don't want to divulge.
I've been here about 30 years, and I came out here in 1986 originally, first time, and came back in 1990 to stay. And so I've spent some time out here in California, but at the moment, it's time to move back to the Midwest for me. I'm just ready to move back and itching, so to speak. But I got a few things I got to tie up and take care of before I leave town here. So it's getting close, though. It's getting close. Oh. How's Chicago? How's Chicago this time of year? What's the temperature?
Chicago is terrible. because you know what? There are issues that are going on in Chicago as we speak. Okay. And one of the issues is people, employees taking the virus shot. Okay. The mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, said, you know what? You're either going to take this shot or you're going to be put on leave and you're going to jeopardize your future, okay, of your livelihood. And you know, I'm not here. You know what? I'm not here to say they should take it. I'm not here to say they shouldn't take it because you know what? I have been warned by YouTube that they don't want me talking about issues of that nature. I'm talking about in terms of me making judgments about whether a person should take the shot, whether they shouldn't take the shot. And you know what? So to stay in the clear, I would say that that is each individual's decision over whether they want. But police officers and people that work for the city of Chicago, they're going to have to make a decision over whether they're going to take the injection.
Well, I heard the airlines have been rolling back their demands because their pilots were going to quit. Mm-hmm. We had Navy SEALs that were going to quit the military and have to reimburse the government for all their training that they've gone into for. And we've had teachers' unions somewhat resisting the mandate, as well as other groups of companies resist mandates. So it's still a toss-up. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen. You got it, and I haven't got it.
No, I took the shot. I took the shot. Okay, and like I said, I want to let people know out there. Damn, I'm being careful on YouTube. Okay, you know what? They should do what's in their advantage is the best thing for them to do. But now there's some people that are under religious persuasions, like they will not take the shot. I'm not advocating it. I'm not even putting it down. That's your decision. What do you think, brother?
I think it's all up for grabs. You can't really. It's hard to say. Hard to say at this point in time. Anything is good for us or bad for us. Yeah,
man. I mean, you know what, man? I feel like you know what? I feel like in some ways I'm living in a country where you are just censored about particular things that you can say. But I want to ask you something, Brother David. These platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Link, and all of these, would you say that they have a right to censor what they want to because it is their platform and we don't pay one dime to utilize their equipment? Are they buy any bandage? Is it their right?
Of course.
To
well, let's put it this way, Clifton. Somebody's got to, and they got their fingers on the trigger right at the moment. Mm-hmm. The argument is, should the government get involved, and should the government put their finger on the trigger too? And then the churches want to get in there, and they say, well, we want to put our finger on the trigger too. So it's like everybody wants to put the finger on the trigger, but nobody wants to claim any of it.
I mean, David, like for you, like for example, if you own the platform, social media, would you say that you have the right to let people put up on there what they want to and what they don't want to? Am I wrong in what I'm saying?
Well, you gotta understand that what you're saying doesn't have no limits. What you're saying doesn't have either it's all or nothing. You can't say that it's all or nothing. When we raise our children, we tell our children, now there's some things you can do and there's other things you cannot do. Understand? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm your father, and I'm going to tell you what you cannot do. So you know what I mean, Clifton. You got children.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you know what? That's what my mentor told me. My mentor told me they have the right to put up on their platform what they want to.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you for YouTube. Thank you for Facebook. Thank you for all
Yes,
these.
I thank them for all that they offer, and we're going to make it better. We're going to make it better.
Okay, you know, at this particular time, Mr. Zuckerwertz of Facebook, there are whistleblowers that said that Facebook, they were using the algorithms, okay, to determine how people feel about things and to possibly incite things like the riot that went on in Washington during the Donald Trump era. Do you think that Facebook should be downsized? Do you think that they have too much power? Do you think that they're using the algorithms irresponsibly?
Yes, of course.
Why you say that?
Well, it's happening right in front of us. We can see it. We can understand the dynamics of what has already happened to us. You know, we can understand how the television set has been feeding us, you know, incorrect information all of our lives. We can understand that. We've seen it. It's happened to me. It's happening to you.
What happened to you?
But you know what else we can see? We see all these tankers out there with all the in the Santa Monica Bay and in Venice are out here, and all these tankers loaded with cargo from China and Italy, all sitting out there, and they're trying to tell us that it's the dock workers and the truckers' fault that it's out there. No, it's out there by an HR bill that President Trump signed right before he left office that restricts them from doing any business here if they're under suspicion as having been involved in our recent elections, and that's why they can't unload. Because
you're saying okay, what you know what would an individual that is looking at this, where would they go get their documentation? So it's like we're saying something, but where would they go get their documentation?
I heard this on a report on the YouTube yesterday. It's one of those reports where it's an older woman. She's from Texas, and she was reading a document, and she said there's an HR bill that was signed by President Trump right before he left office. That's why all those boats are out there. That's why they're not unloading, is because they cannot. They're not going to be allowed to. And it's this HR bill that President Trump signed for any country that was under involvement in our elections. China and Italy were. That's where these boats are coming from. So
what is the name?
They're out there. The news doesn't tell you that. None of the 5 channels will tell you that, but that's why they're out there.
What is the name of the bill? That's what I'm asking you. What's the name of the bill?
It's just one of those HR bills that they can sign at any time. I don't remember the numbers, like maybe 3, 5, 7, 8, 4, 6, 4, 2, but it's an HR bill that President Trump signed right before he left office. If any country is caught or under suspicion, the trade stops. So that's what happened with all these boats around us right now, these barges. So, you know, it could be cars, it could be stereos, it could be anything, but it has to, until negotiations are restarted, none of this stuff can unload for Christmas or for importing stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to ask you something about. First, we get the UFOs next. I want to ask you something about this. Is controversial, and you know what? I have to be biased. And you know what? I was looking at the View television, and people that don't know what the View television show is, there is a show that comes on Channel 7 in Chicago at 10 o'clock, and they was talking about Peter Buttigieg. He is the Secretary of Labor. Secretary of Labor, okay? Tucker Carlson of Fox Television, which I think was a wrong statement. He made a statement that he is on maternity leave. Okay,
yes.
So he's on maternity leave.
I see him sitting right next to his boyfriend.
Yeah, and you know what? And I thought that it inappropriate for him to make this statement? I hope he learns how to breastfeed, saying that because he's a man and he's married to another man, he was not deserving of maternity leave. Tucker Carlson comes on Fox Television, and this was on YouTube when he was talking about that issue. And he is the Secretary of Labor. Okay, and what was your perspective about Tucker Carlson making this statement and putting down Buttigieg in President Bush's cabinet for taking maternity leave with his husband to take care of their baby? What was your take on
I have no comment. I have no comment. And that, yeah, it's a big joke. They're leading us down the wrong path, and these are people that are in power right now. So that's what we're seeing right before us.
So whether he took leave or not, you say that's a personal matter. You don't want to get off into that.
Yeah. It's like whether or not Joe Biden wears Depends or not. It's like it's up to him. It's not any voters or any presses, any television coverage's right to say, but I'm sure he does.
Yeah. You know what? Because I'm on a YouTube platform, and you know what? I'm going to respect and abide. I'm going to respect and abide by their rules and their regulations. So you know what? So me interviewing you, I'm interviewing you as a biased journalist. So I'm not going to give my opinion one way or the other. I'm not going to say what I think. People should do what they want to do. As a journalist, what I do in my if me and you was holding a personal conversation, one-on-one, but you know what, there's people looking, so people should do what they want to do. If that's something that you want to do, take maternal leave with your husband and you admit.
What really scares me, nothing to do with people's personal choices, but what scares me is 8,000 Haitians just came across our Mexican-Texas border this last weekend, and they all disappeared into this country. Now, this is really dangerous. These are men, your age to younger, and they got clubs and knives in their hands and whatnot. And they're charging our border police and whatnot and coming into our country. This is the problem. We're looking at these little individual things, and the news is focused on them, and they're not dealing with the real issues that are at stake and at hand right now. And I'm not really hearing any news being broadcast about situations around the country anymore. Like before the last election, we were hearing different riots in Ferguson and Carolinas and Missouri and Arizona and places like that, even Colorado, but we don't hear that anymore on the news. It was almost like before the election, they were trying to stir everybody up, but what interests me is following Sidney Powell on the YouTube and through reports about the Dominion machines. They've all been found to be corrupted, and by electronic intervention from telephones, but also in manufacturing of the equipment. And so the whole election is null and void. And from what I see on the YouTube every couple of days is Trump and the military have taken power back from Joe Biden, and we're just kind of waiting for these 10 days of darkness we're supposed to have when they arrest a lot of these people. So we're all kind of waiting on that, see what happens, and I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see.
But you know what? Getting back to you said something about immigration.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Would you, before I ask you the question, are you for immigration, people coming into the country legally, or even if they come illegally? Are you for or against it?
I'm for whatever we're supposed to have at the moment. Legal immigration. You got to go through certain vetting, and see the vetting process, Clifton. It takes care of the smugglers, the ones that smuggle drugs in, but also smuggle children in, and they also are killers. They will kill anyone that opposes their smuggling or their operation. So those type of immigrants, and see, to be raised from birth up to the age you're at in a third world country where the rule of the laws of the country don't even exist. You got a knife hanging on you, and if you're lucky, you got a gun and fill with bullets and use it to get whatever you want. When you have the opportunity to come into this country, you got the same rules in your head. You come into this country and you shoot somebody else just to get their car or get whatever they have. It's like we're not allowing people in this country under those pretenses, under those circumstances. And that's what everybody's got to understand now and realize.
You know what? Yiddish just sent you a message that said, yo. I don't know what that means. And Rank Shooter just said LOL. I don't know what LOL is the abbreviation for.
Laughing out loud.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
That is what it is. So, if you're enjoying this broadcast, please share it. And you know what, Brother David, when you talk about immigration, you're saying you are for immigration as long as they come into the country legally.
Right.
Okay. But let me ask you something.
Vetted. Clifton, I told you the other day, I seen last week a guy getting off an airplane who's 80 years old from Afghanistan. He's got a 10-year-old wife. Now, we don't allow women to get married till they're 18 years old here, Legally, you can't have a 10-year-old wife.
Well, I mean,
that's third world country. Third world.
Yeah.
To a first world country. 3-1. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different attack. So, but what you're saying is, as long as they're here legally, so you're saying is the people that have snuck across the borders, illegally to escape tyranny from cartels, MS-13s, and corrupt governments, you believe that they should be turned back? They should be turned back and sent back to their state of origins. Is that what you believe?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that question. That's not a question I can just answer right off the top of my head.
You say it's very complicated. You would have to look at it issue by issue. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if any one of us would give any of these questions a decent time to consider in their own minds, they could see it from both sides. They could see from allow the person in, but then if the person's going to do murder and steal stuff and be a problem, then how can you figure you're going to allow them in your country here? They don't even work a whole job yet. They can't even pay taxes. So if they broke the law, if they caused the loss of life already. So if that's the case, I'm not going to house, clothe, and feed them in a jail for 40 years. That's another stupid thing we're doing.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. And you know what? Joe Biden, I'm not going to talk about Joe Biden. Something about UFO. Let's go to UFOs, man, and we'll come back to immigration.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about.
You said there is something going on about UFOs. When you sent me a photograph, and that was a photograph of the moon being cracked. I gotta say something.
This one here, right here, those are all flying saucer craft going overhead on a road. There's a guy talking on his phone to his daughter, telling him to have a wife call him. Those are all the UFO craft. Now these are all with the Federation, the Galactic Federation of Planets, here to assist for the passing of the Nemesis Nibiru system that's coming up soon. That video just blew me away when I saw it the other day. I sent that to you on Messenger, but this other one that's got the moon breaking up. I don't know. We don't know yet. I went out last night to check the moon to see it. I couldn't see the moon because it was raining out and there was cloud cover. But I'm checking on that one. That you saw that one.
You know, my you know what though, man? My question to you on that is, you showed me a illustration of a moon that had a crack in the middle.
Right there.
But my, you know what? But my question is to you, is being objective. How do you know that was not Photoshop? Because if I use Photoshop, a program that is similar to that, it is easy for me to enhance a picture, or to modify, or to change a picture.
Right.
So what would be your evidence that it has been that photograph was not modified? I would like to ask you that, and I have to be objective when I ask that, because I'm not the only one that wants to know that.
Well, I've been studying about, this theory about our moon being hollow for about 30 years. There's been different books written on it. And then I've been hearing how astronauts have been going up there, and there's been some discussion recently about a moon base being up there. And then Joseph, my contact with the Federation, told me it's going to get hit by asteroids soon. And this picture, it shows it here. The base of it is falling off. See how it's cracking? That's a picture of our moon and the base. But if our moon is hollow and an asteroid came through it, it would look just like that. It would look like it would just tear a hole in it, because it's a hollow ball. It's not a solid dirt planet like the Earth is. So this does make good sense to me if it's true. If it's a hoax, then okay, somebody pulled another hoax on us. But if it's true, I want to look at the moon tonight and see if it's sawed off on the bottom like that, because supposedly it got cracked. But that's information too. They're not reporting this on the 5 news channels, folks. So you heard it here first. But I'm going to be checking it tonight to see if it's true. Mm-hmm. And I know those flying saucers over the freeway there that we saw on that other report, that's got to be true. So there's some big things coming our way. And it's what's today? 21st?
No, today is 26.
26. Well, it's getting close to November.
Okay, I'm listening to you. Now, you know something. When you talk about that, you said you had raised a statement. Now, all you're doing is delivering the message. And you know what? All you're doing is just delivering the message. That's all you're doing. And you know what? And you cannot be knocked for delivering the message. So what was the message that was given to you?
The message for everybody is get the heck out of California, Washington State, and Oregon. If you live in Florida, get out of Florida.
Wow.
And Hawaii, because we're going to have a 70-degree rotation. This planet's going to 70 degrees. That's a quarter turn almost to the west by November, supposedly. That's what I've been told, announced, to bring to the public's attention. So we need to be aware of this. So, and thank you, Clifton, for doing the show and having me on and everything. This is a great way to do it. And I think we should put this one on the PBS channel too when we get it finished, because this is good information and it's valid information. And the people in the Midwest, they like to hear good stuff like this.
Yeah, and you know what? I wish I don't had a connection. I don't know the right people to put on that channel, but I will. We try to dig up some information. So you saying is that you have to check that you're saying right now, in your opinion, that the moon is cracked in half. You don't know. You have to check into more information. Which one?
I just want to see it for myself.
Okay.
If I see it for myself up there in the sky tonight, I'll know that this video is valid.
Mm-hmm.
If I see a moon that's up there that looks normal, I might also think that maybe that's being projected up there for everybody to look at, because it doesn't ever rotate. So could be a projection up there, and this video could be valid as well. So I don't know what's going on really, Clifton. I don't know if what we're seeing is what's out there, or if what we're not seeing is really out there. So it's hard to know still, but a lot of facts are coming out. In fact, this last week I watched a video on the YouTube of a enlisted guy who was out of the military, who came back from a 20-year or a 10-year mission where he had his brain erased when he came back. And he had been on one of these moon missions to Mars, where he was working there in a group, guarding a group that was doing mining there. Mm-hmm. And it's like our Space Force. And he's saying that it really is a Space Force, and they do have people on the moon, and they do have people on Mars. And he was going into quite an in-depth conversation. But there's a lot going on, and we all need to become aware of it and become ready for them when they do land here.
Let me ask you something about the state of California. You live in California.
Yes, sir.
And you said that there are a lot of homeless people on the streets. Now, can you tell us how many do you think it is, and what do you think are some of the aspects that are involved?
I would say there's at least 500,000 people on the street that are homeless, all ages, Mm-hmm. And it's so unbelievable that you got to come out here and see it right in your face. Stop at McDonald's at 6 a.m. in the morning. They're standing right outside begging for money or food or whatever. So, it's like, whoa, it's too real. It's too real. You get it all the time.
Now, you were saying something, and you know what? I was walking through, I shop at Walmart. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can't afford to shop at Jewel's. I don't know if y'all have Jewel's out there where you are, right. But that's like a big. But something, you were saying something that because of the pandemic, there are going to be food shortages, and inflation is going to rise. So the cost of buying food is going to rise.
Well, we're still.
I was thinking about what you said when I was walking through the store, because some of these shelves are empty. I'm not saying that there's an empty store, but hey, man, I'm looking at food price. How high can food prices go, man? What's gonna happen in your opinion?
Gasoline out here is $4.85 a gallon.
In the year 2021, okay, for people that may be looking at this later on in the future. Go ahead.
They'll be fortunate to have bread and clean water to drink. Mm-hmm. And you won't have a lot of you'll be washing off in dirty water with soap, maybe, if you got it. But all these productions are going to stop. They're going to come to a screeching halt. We're not going to have cereal. We're not going to have eggs. We're not going to have bread. We're not going to have all these things we've had all of our lives. Every year we got more and more stuff at the grocery store, and new products and new toys and these new inventions. We're not going to have that for a while here, because everything's going to stop in its tracks. And that's because 80% of our oil refineries will be washed away in just a couple months. they're on the coast, and they're all going to be gone. So we're not going to have any gasoline for our cars or for our motorcycles or anything. So it'll be used for our military and for possibly delivering stuff. That's it. So things are going to get real tight, real quick, and it's going to get real scary for people that don't know how to handle it. But we do, so we'll survive.
So this is you're saying is I look at some survival videos on YouTube. So is this the time that individuals should start stockpiling food, water, and basic necessities to survive? Is this the time they should start doing this?
Exactly. I've done some videos on them on the YouTube for a few months ago. Warning people of this up and coming event that they need to prepare for. But, people are still watching the football games, still watching the golf, still waiting for the basketball to start, so it's like, come on, it's amazing. We're living in a time of tribulation, but most people don't even know it yet. So it's coming to them. And, what's going to wake everyone up is those planets coming around. Not all this talk, because people can look at the videos and they can look at you and me and go, look at these two old guys talking this bull hockey. but I'll tell you, when Nemesis, Nibiru, and those other two planets come around, the whole 12 of them, it's gonna rock everybody's socks. The planet's gonna change. I'm waiting for Antarctica to line up with North and South America on the equatorial line and melt completely and show us what's there. It'll be like Egypt again in the olden days, the old civilization that's been ice covered since the Younger Dryas era happened 12,000 years ago. So it'll be interesting. I'm waiting for that.
You said me and you had a conversation about Joe Biden. And you know what? I don't believe it. But you said when you said something about Joe Biden, would you care to discuss that? No, not really.
Joe Biden is just another man, just like me and you. He's been through the mill. He's had the opportunities. He's taken some bad bets. And he's got a son that's disgracing him all the way with his laptop and whatnot. But what I'd heard is Hunter Biden had been executed. I just heard this. Had been executed at Gitmo. And we still need further verification on this before we know it's a fact. But Joe Biden, I'd heard, has been out of circulation for a while. These are doubles we're seeing of him, walk-ons for the news and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't know personally what's really going on, but there's some bats in the belfry up there, so to speak.
I mean, do you see Joe Biden? Some people see Joe Biden. First of all, some people see Joe Biden as being incoherent and not holding press conferences, and then him stumbling and making mistakes during the press conference. Is this something, in my opinion, this is something natural that happens with age. Okay, because I can't remember the things that I used to remember like 3 days ago, man. I might lay down my keys and forget where I laid my keys down. 10 minutes from now. So is that normal in your opinion when it comes with the aging? People forget. I'm asking. I forget. I know I forget. So people are really putting him down and saying that he's not up to the job because of his age and he's very forgetful. And I'm going to point at myself and say, I may have forgotten where I laid my keys at 10 minutes ago. So
well, when you stop the Keystone Pipeline from being put through, and now your gas prices are going up, that's probably the reason why. Mm-hmm. When you end the 20-year engagement in Afghanistan, which is a good thing to do, you're bringing our troops home, but you made the mistake of leaving all the gear over there, which is a bad thing. So, that's a good thing and a bad thing together. So that's kind of a negative. Now, with the southern border, with all these immigrants coming up, they've had a lot of weather problems down South America, Haiti, and Venezuela, and whatever. So I understand the dynamics of starving people, but soon we're all going to be eating bread and water ourselves up here. We're not going to have any extras for anybody. So it's like, you crazy fools, stay back down there. Don't come up here. But, it's like the locust. You can't keep them out. They're just going to eat everything there is. And until they do, they're just going to keep coming. So
Well, I want to go back to Joe Biden, though. I'm saying, do you fault Joe Biden for forgetting, becoming incoherent because he's getting older? Do you fault him for that? And if you do fault him for that, do you think he doesn't deserve to be the president because of that reason?
the reason Joe Biden is just as smart as anybody else in our government, Congress or Senate, as smart as John McCain was, or as smart as Colin Powell was, or any of these guys. They're all as smart as each other, but none of them are caliber that we need in the president's seat right at the moment, because we can see just in 90, 100 days what's gone wrong in the country. So the problem with being president is you can't be a female. You can't be any Tom, Dick, or Harry. You can't be any color person. You got to be chosen by the creator above before you get stuck in that seat. Because if the people are choosing you now, they're choosing the wrong one. And that's what the size of the problem is. He's just like anybody.
Well, I want to ask you, what I'm saying is, do you demonize Joe Biden because he is slower? He even slept on the steps going up Air Force One, and he forgets. Do you fault him or demonize him for that?
No, I don't demonize anyone.
Okay.
I don't demonize, Kamala Harris, for being a female, but I don't really approve of what Hillary Clinton did, having 125 people assassinated. I don't approve of that. But there's certain things I do appreciate that people do, and at the same time, there's other things that they do that I don't appreciate. So, I can't say who's righteous and who's guilty, but I can't say that Joe Biden is not the man to sit in the presidency seat, and he's over 80 years old, and he needs to be retired.
Okay.
Period.
And you know what is if we was to take a crystal ball, which I don't believe in all of that. Okay, a crystal ball. We know that Donald Trump is posturing to run for president of the United States again, but he cannot say that because of campaign financing rules. Do you think he was better for America, Donald Trump, and do you think that he should run again? If
he can run,
anything can happen before that time. All we're doing is just saying things hypothetically. Do you think that he was better for America?
Donald Trump can run on the Republican ticket. The last time he won on the Republican ticket, and he is the best candidate on the Republican ticket.
Okay.
Now, I don't know who's going to run on the Democratic ticket, but the whole point of it is when the determination comes out that the Dominion machines were tampered with and the vote count wasn't legitimate, we do need to have another election where we use the write-in ballot that's manually counted under camera by a couple different parties in every precinct, and it can be called in and then checked in. And that's the way we have to have an election from now on, in all our districts, because this phony vote count has been going on for 20, 30 years.
Excuse me, when you say, you know what? There's a segment of the population that is listening to you and they don't understand what Dominion machines are. If you could tell them that like break it down, because there's a segment that does not understand.
Well, the Diebold Company is the machines we were originally using for at least the last 20 years in all these different precincts, different levels of elections. And they were found to be faulty. So we hired another company called Dominion, which is outside this country, and they brought their machines in, and they are just as faulty under the same investigation. So the software company is Smartmatic that Dominion uses in some of their machines, but it's all faulty. We cannot have an election without a write-in ballot that's counted by 3 different parties in every precinct under camera for scrutiny. That's the only way to do a fair election. Now, any other kind of election, whether Trump was elected, whether Biden was elected, whoever was elected, we still need to redo them. And we also need to start having a blood test of the individual once a year who is elected to office to verify that that's who we actually elected and that's who the person is that we got in there. Because there's a lot of lookalikes nowadays and a lot of phony baloney stuff going on in our government, on our newscasting, and everywhere. So let's get down to the nitty gritty of things here. We got to do it the right way.
Well, my follow up to that is, if all of that is done, and we know that there's a new world order system that does exist in a shadow government that controls this country. Their oligarchs choose who the president of the United States is going to be because they have control over the television stations and the radio stations and all that. So you're saying is the votes should be counted, but if there's an oligarchy that runs this country in a shadow government, what difference is it going to make? I'd like to ask you that.
Well, you either believe in a creator above, who you call Allah,
yes,
everybody else called God, or you believe in mankind. Now, who are you going to choose to believe in? Yeah. So, Allah's going to override all these elite human beings when they're only here for a day or two more. It's just, they don't got doodly squat, and they don't have any abilities. All their abilities is all, assumed and presumed. It's not real at all. So, the control is by the products they've put on the shelves, and now they're taking off. And that's okay with me. I don't mind. Everybody needs to see that. Everybody needs to learn that. Everybody needs to experience this, time of tribulation so they can tribulate a while and think about it, It's kind of like the end of the football season. Everybody's kind of saying, oh, I want this team to be in the playoffs, but it's like, well, they're not doing too good. It looks like maybe next year for you.
Well, you know what? But I'm going to ask you another follow-up question. You know what? I can't really argue with that. I can't, because you know what? After it's all said and done, the Lord above is in control.
That's right. He's got it going on.
So I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. Because, like, right now, to exemplify the control that the oligarchs have, there's certain things, even on social media, that we can say and we can't say without us being censored and being taken off. So the oligarchs are in control. But I agree with you that Allah, a God, a Jesus, as you say, has the final say.
Right.
And all that, I agree with you. I can't, but you do believe that the oligarchs, because they do exert a great amount of power. But
I don't think it's a great amount. I just think they got the fingers in a lot of stuff, and they can cause a lot of stuff not to flow at the moment. But everything's going to be brought back again. It's like you don't remember, Clifton, in the old days when they used to bring ice to your house to keep your stuff cold.
No.
They had no electricity in their houses, no refrigeration or nothing. But I mean, you got to kind of live through the winter And there was good reason for winter. It kept all the food cold, So, you know,
I agree with you, man. But the NSA is, like all of these broadcasters that are of substance and emails. This information is being collected. I know this broadcast is being watched by somebody in the FBI or the CIA, but I guess it's what you said. If we don't do nothing against the law, it don't make no difference anyway.
we're just two old men just talking between us, and that's all we're doing is share stories from the coast to the center, the heart of the country. You're actually in the heart of the country, Clifton. You and the Twin Cities people right up there. That's where all of our energy, all of our smarts comes from, all of our production comes from. All these people live on the coast, just out there sunning themselves all the time.
And you know something, David? What do you think? Because you know what? You're being watched by the NSA. You are being watched. Believe me, brother. What are your feelings about being watched by agencies like the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, NSA? You're being watched. What are your how does that make you feel that you're seeking to put the truth out and you're being watched and monitored and scrutinized by government agencies as we're talking? They're watching you right now, brother.
Well, I think both of us kind of thought about this a few years back as it was starting to happen, and we were starting to get online and starting to get this ability. But it's like I've been kind of practicing my speeches, and like thinking in my mind just how I was going to do this and everything, and now on the global level, with all the volcanoes going off and the big dam washout, and we're in China and the economics collapsing all around the world, the yen and the what's the Middle East dinar is like $2.50 and $4.50 $4.50 a dinar. So a lot of things are kind of in play right now, and with our planet going to flip 70 degrees in a couple months. It's just, I can see all the bad guys being under, 10 feet of frozen ice again, like the mammoths up in Alaska. They have uncovered one out with grass in their belly still, So, all these things we worry about could all be gone and just in 60, 90 days, but we're still going to have to get ourselves back to the eating stages and the working stages. And we need some solutions, Cliff. We need some solutions to how we're going to make our automobiles run and how we're going to do things. So those are the problems. I've been hearing on the internet just the last couple of days, somebody's talking about this new Tesla energy solution that they're supposed to be implementing, but they don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about nuclear missiles. A big scare about that too. There's no nuclear missiles going to be detonated here. The Galactic Federation, Joseph told me that. So, but this Tesla energy is a bunch of bull hockey too. I've got solutions. I'm ready to build a pyramid on the Mississippi River and put the ark back inside. But that's the only way we're going to be getting around electrically or energy wise. It's not gasoline. It's not going to be oil because we're going to have a big washout. So,
But I was asking you another question. My question is, do you care about the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA monitoring you? Do you care? Does it make any difference to you? Does it put any fear in your heart?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Well, because this Looking Glass project that they've had going on for at least 50 years now was where they got the information about the Star Trek series. One of their active members had communicated this to Gene Roddenberry, and he wrote the script for Star Trek. But they've been looking at this through this Looking Glass project for about 30, 40 years now. And this guy on the YouTube in an interview discussion discusses how they they can only go to 2012, and then it splits. Everything, they can't figure out what's going to happen, and it worries all the elite and all the ones in control. I don't believe it was 2012 though. I think it was 2020. They've seen up to, but that's that they know what's going to happen and they know it's coming down, and that's why we're here to make this offer to the people. But there is a good way to go. There is a way to have peace for 1,000 years here, but it's for everyone, whatever religious faith they've been raised with or they believe in from their heart. They just have to set that aside and follow the 7 Mosaic feast days in the Old Testament of the Bible that the ancient Israelites used to do. And if we do that, we'll have peace for 1,000 years if we're all doing the same thing. If we're all doing something different, it's not going to be peace. We're going to have a rapture, it's called, and God's elect will be gone. Me and you, 2 of them, but the rest will be gone as well. And the people that are here will not be able to die for a while. They'll just be eating bread and water if they're lucky, and it'll be a miserable existence for everyone here. This country will be sold into slavery, and it'll be invaded by China or Russia or even more. Because we didn't take God's offer, is what happened.
I want to ask you something about China. I know we're jumping around from subject matter to subject matter. What is your opinion about China? Is China a juggernaut? They are flying right now over Taiwan right now, claiming that is their country, and they're flying over their airspace unchallenged. Do you think that there's going to be a war in Taiwan between I'm talking about China and Taiwan, because they claim that is theirs and they're flying over their country uncontested?
Well, it was kind of like when Donald Trump was dealing with North Korea, and Donald Trump's tell who's that leader over there. He's telling him, your ship ain't as big as our ship, or your airplane ain't as big as your missile ain't as big as our missile. So it's like they're just flexing their strength, they're just flexing their muscles by flying over with all their jets and whatnot over. That used to be a Chinese territory a long time ago. So they kind of let them, just kind of break away, and they went with the U.S. and the U.S. kind of let them, wave our flags around over there. But that's never been a democracy over there. It's always been a communist country, and it's like us. What if China said, we want Hawaii? What if Japan said, we want Hawaii? And we're going to say, that's our 50th state. We're going to fight a war and kill everybody over Hawaii? Wait a minute. It's just dealings on that level.
If a conflict did develop, do you think that the United States should get involved, or should they stay out of it? If there was a conflict or war that this, so the United States should they back out and don't get involved, or just let China do their thing?
Just like what Joe Biden did in Afghanistan, we should do over there. If there's a conflict, it's none of our business, and we should get the heck out of there. By involving ourselves in third world confrontations with the mother country, we're asking for trouble, and we're just going to get ourselves swatted again, either by Russia or by China, because they're just too big to get in that kind of a confrontation with over a little country that they're claiming was one of theirs. I don't want to do that. We got enough trouble right here in this country to worry about. We don't need to go help nobody else out at the moment. We don't need to. Whatever's going on over there, let them take care of it. We got our own problems to take care of, Clifton.
Yeah. So going back to the global issue, Joe Biden did the right thing by getting up out of Afghanistan, in your opinion?
I believe the reason we are in Afghanistan for the last 20 years was to develop synthetic heroin by our pharmaceutical companies. They have created this now, and they do not need to have control over the poppy fields for any reason under the sun. So they've turned it back over to the Taliban, which is deciding on the opium production for the Chinese and the rest of the world. So that's what's really going on over there. The reason we were over in Afghanistan was just to take control of the poppy fields, but that was all a big farce anyway. 9/11, the dropping of the Twin Towers in building number 9, overshadowed the fact that the Pentagon got hit by that missile salvaged from the Kursk submarine, a Russian submarine, fired at them, letting them know that a soft coup was now taking place. And that's why they hired Donald Trump to sit in the president's seat for them, the generals at the Pentagon, because that's who got hit on 9/11. But you don't ever hear about too much about that nowadays. But that actually started the Afghanistan involvement, our 20-year takeover over there, our development of the synthetic heroin, and now our country is saturated with it. Our pharmaceuticals are selling it, and it's terrible. But the other terrible thing is all that adrenochrome. That is extract taken from children's pineal glands with chemicals that they now have at the pharmaceutical companies for doctors to sell to their high-paying clients. And you take it orally, and it gives you a rejuvenation process for your body. But this is just terrible. This came from all the cattle mutilations done by the Gray Greens. They developed this, and they figured it out. So that's part of where all of our children are disappearing. 100,000 each year for the last 10 years. They've been disappearing to the Gray Greens, taking them for this hormonal extract removal. That's what's really going on. But you're not going to hear this news on Fox News or CBS, ABC, NBC. You know what, Clifton? I've even shared my self-spun fluid concept with all the reporters on Fox News, from Judge Jeanine Pirro to Tucker Carlson to Hannity to Laura Ingraham to the Five. You look at Greg Guimone's hair is even changing color right now in the middle. It was all gray. And Hannity's is too. His hair was all gray about a year ago. It's now turning black. So all these reporters have been told the truth, and they can't say a word.
Oh, man, they're controlled, bro.
They're controlled, right. So that's why you and me are doing this broadcast for everybody out there, and hopefully PBS will get it soon in Chicago. But this is the real news. This is really what's going on.
I mean, man, they probably look, it's all about the dollar value. They probably say because we're saying things that are contrary to what powers want, that bring in sponsorship money. So,
well, the money problem is only for the moment. The gas prices are going to be high. The food's going to be running out. But when the flip happens, everybody's going to just be everybody's going to get down on their hands and knees again and start to pray. I'll tell you.
But you say, damn it, these are fiat dollars anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to matter. All the people that got all the millions and billions of dollars, that's all going to have is paper money. It's not going to be worth anything soon.
Well, I remember what happened in Germany with the marks. You know what? Those marks were fiat, and you know what? At some point, the people start burning the money because there was so fiat means that there was so many in circulation that the value went down. And you know what? And their dollars became worthless. And that's what we're dealing with in the United States of America. I'll pull out some money, but it's not backed by anything because we came off the gold and silver standard in 1971 and by Nixon. But people that don't read and don't get knowledge, they don't know. They don't know. You know something, David? I want to ask you something. There is a danger of all of these big tech people collecting information. Okay, I was looking at something on the NSA where they collect information. Me know about it. What danger do you see for our children that have become conditioned to losing their privacy? What danger for your grandkids and my grandkids that they can't see because they're so busy snapping their fingers and looking at Dancing with the Stars? What do you see in the future for your grandkids and
Well,
my
that's it.
grandkids about their privacy? What do you see?
That is, in fact, something that they don't have yet to think about. And if it's going to be, it's going to be a good thing to think about. And if it otherwise, it's going to be a bad thing to think about. We're at the top of the T, so to speak, and it's either going to go the right way or it's going to go the wrong way. And it's all up to the people in this country to vote one last time and let the Creator know just what they think of his plan. If everybody thinks they got a better idea, they can do it a different way, or they want to do it the same old way, that's fine. You can vote that way. But if you want to follow what our Creator is suggesting you do now, then everything can go the right way. So that's for our grandchildren and their grandchildren, and all the children in the world. It's like, it's up to them. It's up to every one of us. But thank you, Clifton, for putting this word out to everybody and letting them know what's really going on, because that's what
you're letting them know what's going on. You are the man with the plan, brother.
You are too, brother. You are too.
I turn right back around and give it to Allah and say Allah is the reason. And man, you know what? Tell me how. You know what? How can people find? Oh, you got water.
I'm south spinning it.
Yeah. So how can people find you on your YouTube and Facebook page and all that? How can they find you?
Well, the best way to go is to the YouTube. You just enter youtube.com/C/David L. Kaas, Kaas. Okay. And they take you right to my YouTube page, and you can scroll down through all the videos I got on there about south spinning your fluids, just like this. But also I got some from the last election on there, and I'm also going to be mounting this one. I got that one video of us on Clifton on there on the YouTube channel, but I'll put this one on too, I think. So all you guests, go there, view the videos, become informed, and listen in, because this is where you hear the real news first.
And do you have any finish? Like I've asked you so many questions. Do you have any finishing, concluding statement that you would like to make to the audience?
Well, if this moon did get cracked off 48 hours ago, I got to check it tonight. And I'm sure that large group of craft going over that guy's head is a valid photograph that we saw earlier. I showed on the cell phone. All these things were told to me by my contact Joseph a few months ago, a couple of years back. And so it's all coming true, and the crop circles don't lie. And I'm getting excited. I'm just getting ready.
Sound like the song. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's like I thought I want the Pointer Sisters to come back with that song again. I'm so excited. But this isn't far off, and so we need to buckle down and get ready. Thank you, Clifton.
See, when you sound like Cypress Hill, when the ship go down, you better be ready. I don't know if you ever heard that song. When the ship goes down, you better be ready. Huh?
You've all been told now, so listen up.
You sound like Noah, brother. Noah warned the people before it was going to rain.
Well, Clifton, Adam warned Eve not to leave and go into town, but she finally got him to go, and they never went back to the garden again. So.
That's right, brother. And I want to say to everybody, I hope y'all join the Underground Railroad YouTube website and other social media platforms. And if you need video production done in Chicago, you know where we at it. We make television shows and we film events. And you know what, the link will be at the bottom. So if you like this, share it Okay, it's a
Yeah.
share button. Press a like. Okay, society be so animated, but you know what? And brother David, he is my brother from another mother. He
Yes.
really is. And you know what? I want you to go to his YouTube page. I want you to go to his Facebook page, and I want you to support him in his endeavor of getting the word, of disseminating information to the people. I want to thank you, Brother David, for accepting the invitation to come on the Underground Railroad television show in Chicago, although you in California.
Thank you, Clifton. We're getting hooked up better and better every time now. Better and
All
better.
right, my brother. Y'all take care, man. Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.